Last class, we learned how to insert image in our web page. Now we're gonna learn how to make form in this class. To make a website interactive with user, a website must provide a form system. As you are a developer now, you must know how to create form. Form help user to put their information, click radio, checkbox, submit their form, choose from many option and many other things. So let's get started. So open the notepad and save the document as form.html. Now inside a paragraph tag, write down the word username or developer name, and in the body section use a form tag at the first place. Then put a input tag after it. With the input tag, we can choose file. So select type as text. But when first, let's say developer name is the first thing in the form documents. With this tag and attribute, we make a place one can input some text about some information. Then we could make a checkbox, as you can see in many websites, if you want to stay logged in or not. Now we can make a checkbox, as write something inside the paragraph tag first, then use the same input type attribute. This time the value is checkbox. We can put something here. We can click something here. In input, after saving, we can click here in the box. Thirdly, use radio option when someone has to choose between choice and option. Now, as output, we may click both at the same time. It is because they aren't interconnected with each other. Now we have to name them, say experience, then they are connected to one another. Now, either you are a senior developer or an unexperienced developer, but you cannot be both at the same time. Now, as you can see, you can't click both at the same time in the browser output. We shall become familiar with the selecting anything from the option we have. Now, after completing HTML form, we at the start from select tag, within the select tag, use option tag to indicate the option user gonna choose among. So there's some options here. Now, after completing the HTML tag, let's see what our output on the internet browser. As you can see, you are given option from which you will be choosing your preferred option. Now, within next paragraph tag, fill and finally put input type as submit. Now, within next paragraph tag, fill fifth and finally put input type as submit. Here, submit. If you click there, nothing happens because you didn't learn MySQL yet. But after you learn about MySQL, this submit and this form will help you understanding and collecting the information about the user. In case submit button doesn't make sense somehow, you can use another attribute named value. If you write value equal click me, then the submission button will exactly instead of submit, it will be click me. Again, first place where the value type was text, you can add up another value attribute here, naming value, and equal make the username. After running the code in browser, you can see the empty box now filled with a default name already. So it helps user to understand what he going to be used, or just a default name he will use anyway. Second term, if you want, unlike how our checkbox may be clicked by default, it is not clicked by default. We can make it default by clicking. Plus, instead of empty box, filled box will be a lot easier to understand as what user have to do. Second term, if you want, unlike now, our checkbox may click by default, you will use attribute name checked. Now, as you can see, the checkbox is already by default checked. Someone can remove the tick mark with placing or clicking the box. Thirdly, if you put value in your radio box, we can understand what user actually selected in the procession. Inside the fourth section option tag, just return attribute selected. Then the selected item will be very default, come with the at the first place. Now, before at the very beginning, the username is the browser option as default. Without the attribute, the first name will be shown in browser as option by default. At the very beginning, the username is by default API, but on process, it is not user friendly because one has to remove all the text to write down any documents. So we can exchange the attribute with placeholder, then the default name will be shown in the text background. As you can see, there is a username here, but just when you click, you can write anything here. So if you exchange the attribute with placeholder, then the default name will be shown in the text background. As you can see, we are form expert now. Tomorrow we will learn about how to create table in a web page.